Hello again, and welcome back to another sewing video. With Thanksgiving over and all of the leaves off the trees, I'm ready for snow, and I'm ready for Christmassy things. And so, I have decided to make the most gaudy Christmas outfit I could possibly think of. Now this was inspired by the concept of tree skirt parties, which I think is a very white person thing to do, but it made me think that it might be really fun to try to make a dress out of tree skirts. So I have two tree skirts. This one is burlap, which might not have been the best choice, but we're rolling with it with a plaid ruffle on it, as well as this one, which I have not opened, which has deer on it and is solid red. So I think this one is going to be my actual physical skirt, not just a tree skirt. And then the other one will become the bodice. I don't know how well this will work. It might fail, but it's time for Christmassy stuff, and I want to become a Christmas monster. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe and comment with your favorite Christmas traditions, because I'd really love to know, especially since we are trapped at home this year and need to come up with more fun things. We usually like to go to the Kris Kringle market in Chicago, but this year it's closed, so we're looking for some more fun things to do. So let me know, and let's just go make this crazy Christmas outfit. So I'm starting off with the bodice that I drafted from my Pinafore tutorial, which I will link in the cards, and I am arranging those pattern pieces onto my tree skirt in a way that the grain of the burlap is all going up and down, because the grain's really obvious on this fabric, so I wanted to be extra careful to make sure that it was laying correctly. And then that all just got cut out. Once those pieces are all cut out, we can pin them together. Please be careful and don't be like me and pin them in the correct orientation, because I had to do some seam ripping very late in the game and it was very irritating. And then everything just gets stitched together with a simple straight stitch. And then everything gets pressed. This fabric was a little stubborn, and it took me quite a while to get the seam allowance to lay perfectly flat, but it was beneficial overall, so it was worth that suffering. Once the seam allowance is flat, I am now just folding over the edges so that I can finish them off nicely. Since this is like a one-off joke project, I decided to not be super diligent with how I finished the edges. And that just gets top stitched down. I decided to go with red because I thought that was a fun detail. Instead of seam ripping the ruffle off, I cut about 1.5 inches around the edge of the tree skirt. So I had a built-in bias tape so that I could easily finish the edge off with and ensure that I didn't run out of fabric. After I cut my length of ruffle that I needed, I just folded that edge over and finished that off really quickly. And then top stitched that bias tape down. Once that was top stitched down, I am pinning my ruffle onto the bodice. I'm using the top edge and pinning the back panels and the front panels. The ruffle next to the side panels are left free to go around my arms to make cute little sleeves. And then that just gets stitched on the same way. I'm following my other stitch line to make sure that there are not double top stitching and keep it as neat as possible. And now we can pin it onto the skirt. I just cut the circle at the top a little bigger so that it fit around my waist and did nothing else to it. So this is pretty much just the straight up tree skirt. There's very little alteration that had happened. And once again, that gets stitched on. I am stitching over my pins for this because I find that if I'm sewing the curve of a circle skirt to a straight edge, it shifts way too much. So I just carefully sew over my pins and hope for the best. And then after that, I just needed to stitch the Velcro back on. I decided to use Velcro because that is what came with the tree skirts, and I thought it would be most authentic. I kind of regret this, although it was fun to Hulk out of the outfit once I was done filming. And then finally, for some added detail, I am just adding a few little ribbons as straps. They're not actually structurally straps, but I thought it needed a little extra something. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this quick little video. I hope you're having a great holiday season, whether it's Hanukkah, which I know is starting in just a few days, or Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, hope you have a great day. Bye!